Hey guys, how you doing? This is Ryan Date here, aka Date Ryan Sama on Twitter. Over there is my brother Travis, aka Goose the Truth, on Twitter, and over there is Nobunaga aka Tommy. And we're a member short or two, but we're still here to have a meeting of the pillars and talk about all things anime and nerd. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to know whenever we're having a meeting so that you can always be here and be a part of it so we can, join our conversation in the comments. So, there are a lot of anime that's been out recently, and a couple things that are coming out, and some anime that just ended their first season, some get into their second seasons. A lot of us are still waiting on the next season, and I guess the movie of Demon Slayer. There are a couple of other animes that are worth checking out, like Zero and stuff like that. But we're talking about something very specific, very new, something that caught traction very quickly, and that is Fire Force.
Cool.
It's got to our second season. It's animated. As you know, I'm anime only. I check out the manga sometimes, but generally anime only. So I'm sticking predominantly with the anime. We don't want to give any spoilers to anybody watching, so we're trying not to get too far away from talking about just the anime. But since it made it to a second season, it must be pretty good. And since it's so popular,
it's pretty good.
it must be pretty good as well, because you see a lot of it buzzing on Twitter and other social media stuff like that. So I guess what I want to do here is talk about Fire Force, and we want to have a conversation about Fire Force as the pillars, because we all watch it. I guess maybe we all like it, we all enjoy it, or something like that. There's a couple of characters that I like for sure, right? So I guess we start off like this. I mean, so what do you think about Fire Force? I know it's a very broad question, but I want to start off with that. We'll start with Tommy, because we missed you last time. Nobunaga did not welcome back. So we're gonna start with you. What do you think about Fire Force? How do you feel about it as an anime? Give us something.
Okay. As the anime, I did see some clips of the anime on YouTube. I saw some of the early fights. I gotta say that it is really, really good, because whoever is animating it or drawing the animation is the same as the people from Soul Eater, which is probably by far my favorite type of animation style or drawing or whatever you want to call it. I love the way that was drawn. I think it was, so good. As far as the anime goes, or whether it's in its entirety, I do think it's really good, man. It's pretty unique as far as bringing something like fire, just one single type of element and turning it into that. Mm-hmm. And these guys are firefighters. I mean, but they have different types of fire as far as what they can do with it. They got pretty creative with that. Then there's like the first, second, and third generation as to how they can use their fire abilities, all that crap. I will say that I'm kind of reminded of Bleach though when I watch that or read it, as far as all the teams and just how they work independently from one another, and they have these little discrepancies between one another as far as the squads go. But I could still see myself if I were to watch or continuing to read, and it keeps my attention.
It's so funny because our past pillar, Ed and Edwin, was always saying I'm always bringing up the same animes / manga. And I have not had a reason to be so enthusiastic in a long time. Not to say that the other animes that I've been watching are not amazing, and let me dumb down the word, not really good. But in terms of man, I need to know what's going to happen next. So you mentioned ReZero. That's what I'm watching. I'm hoping that we can actually talk about that sooner or later. But the next thing was Fire Force. And I know that I truly love something when I am losing sleep over it. I stayed up till the morning when I saw the sun coming up just to make sure that I could watch all these episodes. And if I got tired, I went to sleep. But the first thing I did when I got up the next day or the next hour, because I barely got any sleep because I wanted to watch Fire Force, was put on Fire Force. All right. In terms of first of all, let's talk about the animation and what's going on there. Now, I know Tommy touched on it already. If you have a great sound system, and you could be listening to it with a great pair of headphones, or if you have a great surround system, and you're listening into watching it, you hear the sound effects. It is beautiful. I can't even like. There's no words to describe like the sound, the surround sound, how they are actually utilizing every sound, every single type, the monos, the effects, the SX, like everything is going on in the background when they start using their powers. I don't know if you've heard that, Maurice, but like it's to me superb. That's the first thing I got to touch on. Like I'm like listening to it and I'm like, is this a movie or is this an anime? What's going on? Is this a regular show? Next thing.
So before you go any further, 'cause I'm kind of comparing it to Soul Eater now. Do they have like a soundtrack playing, like as far as like certain types of music playing or whatever?
So Maurice and I talked about this a little bit. I enjoy the soundtrack. It is seemingly the same people like trying to do that same stuff they did with Soul Eater, but they're going more towards I want to say more rock. But it is like they are definitely thinking about all the artists and bands that they're choosing for their openings and endings. Like this is like taking into consideration.
So good, man.
It is good. It is good. I prefer different choices, but however, like they've still kept me engaged with their openings and their endings. I know Maurice likes it, but I
love the first opening from the first.
Right. I think that was enjoyable. I forgot which band they got for the second opening, but I like that.
I'm not talking about the opening though. I'm talking about
wow. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Again, like I said, like it's just it's not as grandeur as Soul Eater, you know, and maybe the viewers will possibly agree or maybe disagree, or even yourself if you check it out. But in terms of like sound effects though, this is just it blows me away. I talked about animation with Maurice. We're going to touch on that in a second. But yes, the animation is phenomenal. And I know people are saying, well, it's 2020. No. They're putting an effort into, they're putting a real effort into this animation for sure. I don't think it's like the quality of watching it. You don't even need an HD TV to like be able to appreciate what they're trying to do on their end. And I don't know if you remember, like, you know, how Soul Eater would have the worlds where like, maybe there'll be a point where it starts showing in like 3D or whatever. Like it seems like Fire Force is going in that same direction, and I love that. Now, characters, everyone has their own persona, and funny, like we were talking about complex. This is what I'm talking. This adds into great writing. I know this goes from manga into anime, but like. Every character truly has their own true personality. It's great to watch. It's great to see. I'm enjoying every single character in there. Bad guys, good guys, side characters, even the people who are in the communities. You know, we have the city. We have.
So you're even enjoying the chick that's only there to be fan service, like whose clothes always there for no reason.
Yes,
what's her name? Tamaki.
Maki. Yeah. She's funny. Like,
come on.
It is pretty funny how they end up in those situations.
She's just like useless fan service all the time. Like it's just
it's
so out of place too. It just be like, you know, like the memes, like nobody, and then Tamaki, and she's like fan service. Like that's how I feel like it's happening every time I watch Fire Force, bro. Every time. It's crazy.
I think it's set up pretty well though. There was like this one scene where she was knocking on the door, and then I guess the door was like already being open, and he was reaching for the doorknob, but instead he put his hand in her crotch or something like that. I thought that was pretty funny.
Bro, it's always like that. It's just like some random fan service stuff. It happens all the time, bro. It just makes, I'm like, why? Why does this have to happen? And like, it's just so weird. Like,
I'm anxious. I'm anxious to see what they do. I know, Tom, you've been reading your far ahead. I'm anxious to see what happens. I need them to keep on getting the funding. It's because I remember Soul Eater got cut, which was crazy to me, but
it got cut short. That was terrible.
Fire Force has to continue all the way to the end, and I don't know what's the business like or what's the workaround with that, but this is one, like Naruto. I'd have been sad if Naruto didn't reach to the end. I'd be sad if Fire Force doesn't reach the end.
It's still ongoing, so
yeah.
As far as the animation, like I said, I saw like briefly some clips or whatever, and the animation is, like I said, is really good. It's like it pretty much to me rivals as far as like top tier animations right now.
I gotta disagree.
I would say like One Punch Man is up there, and
Mhm.
Fire Force is up there right now.
Right.
I gotta disagree with you, bro. I don't think Fire Force animation is good. I think that Fire Force animation is great because it's it's pretty damn amazing. I think that they put a lot of effort into really making sure that it's animated right, and I think that because of that, it's not just good. I think it's pretty damn amazing. So
I'm putting it up there with one of the best right now.
Yeah,
that I think is
I'm
One
just saying,
Punch Man.
But you said good. Even One Punch Man is like pretty dope for a lot of it. But I
Oh,
think
it's
Fire
really
Force,
good, man.
even and especially in the second season of Fire Force, like they are putting a lot of effort into the production of this anime. And
So
I
for
have
my
to say, like it's just
lack of a
fantastic.
really good description, I'm gonna just say it's outstanding.
Come on,
Okay.
outstanding. That's better. That's better than good. So I appreciate it. But no,
Yeah.
I'm being serious. And I guess I'll segue into that because that's definitely what I like the most about Fire Force is how much they put into it. I feel like and people always kind of misunderstand what I'm saying when I say this. So viewers, I'm letting you know I don't mean that I'm against the art styles of anime. Art styles of anime will be their own art styles. But I'm talking about the animation and the production value of said animation. And so when I'm talking about that, I mean that if you watch Demon Slayer, and I use this example all the time, Demon Slayer always looks good. The lines are always sharp. Like everything about Demon Slayer always looks good. Even in the funny joking parts where he's like potato head, you know, like and he's like looking stupid or whatever, the lines are still sharp. When it's when Zenitsu's being annoying, the lines are still sharp. They're always sharp during even like all the time. It just looks really, really good. Fire Force the second season is like that, especially like where we just got to. Like when they were doing like the fights just now, and you're like, yo, why does this look so good? Everything about it looked great. The fire looked great. The way that the car moves looked good. The abilities look great. Everything about the way Fire Force looks, it just looks good. And I feel like you were saying, Trav, in 2020, I expect anime to look that good. And you know, especially it looks that good and it still respects the art style because we know that Soul Eater is an amazing art style and the person that wrote this is doing it, you know,
so
doing
whoever
that as
is
well.
drawing that just gotta keep doing your thing because you're the shit.
Yeah, the Hashira Podcast wants to shout out whoever the illustrator
Whoever this person
whoever
is.
the
We
should
artist
have looked that up and
that
we
is doing
should-
it. We
that's
should
our
look
fault.
that up. Whoever
we
you
need an
are,
award.
keep doing what you're doing because it's absolutely fantastic and we enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, and it's just the motions and the movement. It's so fluent. Like it's just, I don't know. It's really good.
It's really
It's
good, and the
amazing.
characters look good. The shadowing looks good. Everything about it looks pretty good. I even think I like the and art style wise. Even like the eyes. Do you realize the eyes on the characters mean so much in Fire Force? You know what
It's
I mean?
really
Like,
the eyes and the teeth.
yeah, the eyes and the
Yeah.
teeth mean so much. So when you
Mouth
see
section.
the eyes and they have like the crosses in the eyes, or some of them got the pink eyes with certain shapes in them, like you know something's about to go down. You know what I mean? So like I think that's also a really cool thing to go. So I think that that's what I like a lot about Fire Force is how visually pleasing it is and how much those visual aesthetics and as Travis said and the audio, like the way all those things complement what they're trying to do is telling the story better than I think. Even the writing, I don't think is as good as the presentation. Like the presentation is kind of outclassing the writing. It's just so it's there. And I think I can, when people see it, the first thing they're gonna do is like, you know, you see something like what's it say? You can't judge a book by its cover. But in this case, the cover is good, and you want to get to the book, and then you know they'll both be good together, like that sort of situation. I do think some of the things are a little bit paced weird, and that might be because I didn't read the manga. Because there's some things I was like, huh? And then they kind of jump into something a little bit, so the pacing could be a little off. But other than that, I think it's enjoyable.
Did that scene happen already? Where? Oh, actually, I know it did because I
Are
seen
you not?
it.
Are you not? So wait, hold on. Let's go back because like I am enjoying the pace. I'm enjoying the pace thoroughly. I feel like everything, it's so like even when I thought I wasn't gonna enjoy the pace, as the most recent, and you know it's not even spoiler alert. Like if you're watching Fire Force, then you should be on the same episodes that we are, which is up to date to the newest episode. Even with the episode of the animals, man, like I was like, oh god, where are we going now? You know, and I was worried. But that episode was still really good, and that little arc that they did was still amazing to me. You know, when they found themselves still trying to figure out a little bit more about what is it called? And then there's so many terminologies. But the specific fire.
Adora Flame.
The
Yeah,
Adola burst.
but the specific Adola burst, and then but what comes with the link? So that
Adola?
specific link. So they travel over to the to China. I guess this is technically China, right? This is where they went. And like now they're trying to fight. They fought to make sure that the animals oasis doesn't get destroyed. Uh, and like I was like, talking animals is gonna be whack, but no, I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was so
Beastars.
dope. Yeah, I was like, oh wow, look at that.
V-Stars.
It was cool. I can't say I enjoyed the meeting with the brothers. I enjoyed that first meeting. I love the fact that, I honestly thought, oh, are we gonna get him now? Are we getting Show? No, they took Show right back. Like I love that. All the fights that what's his name has had so far up to this point is just great, and I feel like we're not
Shinra.
even. I yeah,
Yes,
Shinra, and I
Shinra.
think honestly, this is me just speaking, and I could be totally wrong, but I think Maurice, the reason you feel that way is because maybe you're anxious for the next, because you want to know. I think you're so much involved in it, and you like it so much that the pacing is not good for you because, well, we're only getting 30 minutes, and they can only do but so much within not even 20 minutes, 22 minutes, and there's so much they can do within that time period. But you like it so much, so therefore the pace may not feel good to you. But honestly, I mean,
I don't think that's it. I don't
what
think that's it. It's
what do
not.
you where do you
I'm
feel
not
like they should be at right now? Where do you think that
not
they?
when I say pacing, I don't mean that it's be moving fast. I'm
Okay.
saying it could be moving slower in order to give us some more things that
Oh,
we
you feel like
need
it's
to
moving
say.
too fast?
Yeah, I feel like I felt like well
Ah.
now we're getting to a point where it slowed down and got to at the end of the first season, going into the second season, is when it slowed down to a point for them to then it did the and we talked about this in another episode. So viewers, we talked about this before. We were talking about how animes nowadays kind of like open up with mystery for a good amount of the first season, and then at the end of the first season we kind of get the information that we needed in order to back up the beginning. So they kind of leave us in the dark on purpose and then start to fill in those dots as they move across. But like it's the way that they kind of fill in the dots, I just don't think is done like well enough. So I think a lot of people can get lost in a couple of the first episodes. As a matter of fact, I know a couple of people who got lost in a couple episodes, and I see some people on Twitter who also like were like, "What's happening here?" And like I mean, I pay attention to it, so I kind of was able to know like, "Oh, this is happening," obviously. And then based off the foreshadowing that I can tell is happening. But I don't know, maybe we watch anime differently. I can't speak that for everybody, but I know that they're just like that's the kind of the style that's going on now. So at the end of the first season, we got a lot of those questions answered, right? We figured out the whole situation, understanding more of Shinra's abilities and why he's so important, and not just the fact that he's a main character, he has to get hacks. We know that. Well, he also we know what these hacks are, right? And we start to understand some more of the hacks themselves. We start to understand more about the world and what actually took place for the fire situation to be what it is, right? And also again, just what Tommy said and what you said as well. I just want to stop right there just to say this. I love the fact that they took fire as one element and somehow found a way to make it everything else in the show. I think that's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, what other anime has
Yeah.
really done something like that?
None, because
None.
none. It's really
None.
cool, and I think that that's pretty amazing. Because even like playing on the scientific ability of fire and what it means and what it actually is put together, like the fact that it's oxygen needs to be there for it.
No,
to work.
there's some
Like they go
actual
into some real
science into it. Yeah,
for the abilities.
that's
And I
true.
think that's pretty
It's
it's
not
pretty sweet.
completely just made up bullshit.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think that's great. But going back
And
to
it-
that, so like we get a lot of those things, right? And then out of nowhere at the end they kind of clean it up. It's like so, and I think that now we got to a place where like now it's like I'm good with it, and I think a lot of people will be good with it right now. But I think in the beginning of the first season it was just like this just happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. You know what I mean? And it took a little while to get to the point where we could get to understanding what was going on. Unless you were foreshadowing and like putting things together and making your theories ahead of time, like I was. I think a lot of it was kind of quick, but that's just my opinion. I'm not saying it's terrible, but I think the pacing was a little off. Just
I don't know. I just personally don't know how, speaking, I guess subjectively, how something could have went over someone's head. Not to say you. Yeah, obviously you said you foreshadowed whatever, but whoever those people who engaged with you, or on Twitter in general or the forums, however how something went over their heads is actually interesting to me because I feel like everything was pretty much spoon fed, and even with the fast paced anime, like I just feel like we got everything that was necessary every single time. The only thing I'm wondering about now, because it's still like, I mean, this is good writing in general. I'm wondering about Joker. I'm wondering about the scientist.
Joker looks like a beast.
And this demon that could easily arise out of Shinra is seemingly being touched on from a person inside the factory. I forget the name. But like once they help her or do whatever with her, will we no longer have to worry about this Akuma like being coming out of Shinra anymore? Like, is this the main reason? Is she the main reason why Shinra is like going mad? And once they deal with that, what's gonna happen? Let me speak on. I said this in briefly in the chat. I have one character. No, there's not many times that you can make me hate you. And if you make me hate you, right? And if you make me hate you, that means the writing is doing such a great job. I'm not talking about disliking somebody as in the writing, the character, stuff like Bakugo. I wish he could do more. No, I'm talking about
out of this show, or are we talking
it's
about
out of this show. It's out of this show.
Okay.
I need her to go. Inca needs to go, bro. Like I with a passion, I cannot stand her.
The whole time I was watching it with our brother Mike, right?
But in a good way, like
she needs to get the smoke. I was like she deserves the smoke, bro. I was like she deserves the smoke.
And you know how I feel about what's her name from Tower of God. Like I love that character.
Yeah, you love Rachel.
I love Rachel.
Let's pause real quick.
Evil.
Yo, he likes Rachel. Everybody watching. Travis likes Rachel. All right, continue.
I like Rachel. Inca is a straight evil, bro. Just maniacal. She needs to go. She needs to go. Like
that's how I feel about that girl from I don't know if you guys ever seen Mirai Nikki.
No.
That crazy psycho chick. Oh, forget it then. I mean, chick was just insane, and she really needed to die.
It was funny. We had a whole conversation.
Another beast, man. But in a great way. Like this woman who, not even this teenager who loves adrenaline to the point where she loves putting herself in harm's way just to feel something. And you think that she has a camaraderie with these people that are introduced? Nah, you're actually in the way. Kills the people who she's been working with. I'm sorry, you should be up to date now. Kills the people who she's working with. No, I mean kills one of the people that she's working with and then goes on to the next side. Not because she thinks she's going to be working with them willingly, but because of the fact that she wants to struggle. Wow, you need to go. Now, you need to die. And I don't know how Shinra's going to even handle her. Somebody who wants to be in harm's way.
Now, when she smoked that dude, bro, I was like, she need to get the smoke, bro. She deserved
She's a
all the
masochist,
smoke. And I just, yeah, she's one of those characters. All of the viewers watching, like, we definitely did an episode on villains and anti-heroes. You should go back and watch it whenever you can. And it's funny because Travis started off by saying one of the big things that we agreed on makes a good villain. If the writing for a character makes you hate them because they're doing the most, that means that the writer took the time to make that villain a villain. And that's why I have a problem with this Inca chick. Because when she smoked that dude, I was like, yo, how you just gonna do that like that? How you just gonna do that like that? Like that was wild. That was wild, man.
Amazing too.
But like you guys are saying, that's another reminder of the greatness of the anime. They have like characters that just go above and beyond with their own persona. They don't have like just a general type of personality, and they just go with the motions. Like some characters are really, really well thought out, and they go in. The writer just has like all these different directions of different personality types or characteristics and all these traits. And once again, it's just like that's just how Soul Eater was as well.
Yes.
All these characters, and they all went into like their own. They all have their own direction, and it was really well thought out. So you gotta appreciate that.
I don't want Inca to turn good. I don't want her to be like. I feel like that would mess up what's going on. Like I love her being evil. She needs to die evil. Like I don't even think she's evil. I can't even call her evil. She's like, in a sense, she's kind of like Magneto, where like she's not really evil because she just wants to put herself in harm's way, and honestly, don't get in the way of
Did
that.
you just compare her to who? What?
Magnus.
What?
Magneto.
You better cut that foolishness out.
My
We
boy
ain't doing that.
Magnus.
Well, I mean, can we say that
Oh,
because
no.
really, like, she's maniacal, but is she evil though?
But my man Magneto's fighting for mutant kind out here. She's just looking for adrenaline, bro. We ain't putting those on the same level.
That's true.
I
I get that.
refuse.
I get what you're saying. I was just trying to give a similarity, but I'm saying, like, would you agree, like, that she's not evil? She's just
She's anti right now, you think? Technically, yeah.
she's a I don't even know what.
She's a maniac.
What is she?
She's a maniac.
She's an enigma.
And she needs to catch the smoke. She's an enigma
She's a
that needs to
crackhead.
catch. Wow. But she's an enigma that needs to catch the smoke, and I agree with you. So what you just did though, Trav, that you opened up, kind of opened up the pathway here. So we're talking about characters, right? Let's talk about characters. As Travis said, he thinks a lot of the characters in the show were written very well, and if
I
he
agree.
believes so. So then, what are some characters that stick out to you guys? Like what that's you're like, yo, this is dope right here. I enjoy this a lot. You know what I'm saying? So what is that?
Even though I'm not a big fan of this character, although I do like the character. I think Arthur is a really
That's
good
my
character.
favorite character. That's my favorite.
Is he? Okay, yeah.
That's my favorite.
He's not a favorite character of mine, but I really
Arthur's
like
a
the
beast,
character.
man. He's freaking ridiculous. I really enjoy Arthur.
Yeah.
I think he's really great.
They want to call it because they call him. It's so crazy because his backstory. His parents left. Who knows? They probably became infernals, and they never came back. We don't know if they're alive or not. I think they're dead because I don't. The way that flashback happened was as if like his parents are very, the nurturing type. Would like, hey, look, if we're leaving, we're definitely, and we said we're coming back, we're coming back. And for them not to come back means that I think that they turned into infernals. And now he lives in this fantasy that was created by I wouldn't even say created, helped found by his father, because his father was already imagining things too. So he's like, what do you see in the dark? And like now he's built this. If you think about it, this is where the psychological part comes in. He's built this psychological world of escape to kind of cope with the fact that his parents are
The loss
gone.
of his parents.
Yes.
Yeah. And even aside from that, it's the humor that comes from him.
Right.
Instantly, this guy comes out of nowhere and says, I'm the king of knights. And then I think it's like right in the beginning where he had that fight with, I think they were facing Squad 5.
Right.
And the whole time he's fighting this dude, he has a sword in his left hand. He's like, man, something feels off. Then he soon realizes that he's right-handed, and he throws it in his right hand, and he smokes the dude.
That was definitely. Nah, that was definitely. And Arthur's a beast, man. I enjoy Arthur, and I always think that he's gonna do something great when he's on the scene. I enjoy the fact that like, and again like that whole lightsaber sort of situation because of the way that he can use his firepower. Like
the plasma.
That is really cool, right? Well, I mean, I was just saying lightsaber because it looks like a Star Wars weapon. You know what I mean? But it's pretty sweet and what it does and how he's able to use it, and also with the senses that he's using and how they were honing them and training and being able to keep that kind of fire situation but allowing it to be redirected into knighthood, chivalry, and like actual martial arts. I think that was a cool stance for those to go with when they were learning from one of my favorite characters. I guess I might as well just say it, Mr. Benny Maru. She's a beast, and he's a wild boy, and I remember the first time I saw him, I was like, everybody else is in this meeting and they're all serious, and he's just sitting there like, I don't want to be here. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of like doing what he wants to do.
Nah, he just got up and bounced.
This is like, what does he think he is? And then after that, you find out that he can do what he wants to do because he's a beast. So even when he's training them and giving them more like I guess ideas for martial arts to use with their actual Adola bursts and abilities, you get to see that these things are greater than what you are, I guess, or shown from face value. And also just Benny Morrow being Benny Morrow as well. Like he was ODing. Man, when they were protecting like the
he's
town?
considered to be the strongest,
which is interesting. Yeah, he is. He still is, which is interesting. I was gonna say that because I want to see him go against what's his name with the patch. Like, is he
Burns?
stronger than?
Chip.
Is he
He's the
stronger
best.
than him?
Nah, no.
But that's what they said. He's considered to be
Nobody's stronger
Nah.
than Burns.
No, Burns OD. We only.
He
Bro.
is OD.
Yo,
But
at
Mar-
the end
but
of that
Maurice, they
at the
said
end
it,
of the
though.
season, I know.
They
Yo,
said
They
it.
did say that Benny Morrow was considered to be the strongest.
they said, but you see that?
Brigader.
I like how they said that, but they said considered to be the strongest. Considered to be the strongest is what they did on purpose. That's what they said, considered. And we know that Burns literally said no, but Burns literally said, right, that he takes a step back from things after the situations in the past. So recently he took a step back. They don't. A lot of people may not even hold him high up in ranking anymore. But when he was sitting there with Shinra, bro, I said, oh no. I was like, oh no. I was like, oh
Nah,
no,
Burns is really OD.
Yo, he's wild, son. I was like, what is happening?
That is true. I would like to see him go at it.
Would love to see them go at it. And I wouldn't say also the fight scenes are they have rewatch value. They have rewatch value. Like I like not only because of the goodness of the fight, but you want to hear the sound effects again. You know what I'm saying? You want to see that animation again. It is I loved watching. So far, I don't think I've seen a fight that I've disliked. You know, even with the weak ones. You know, even when Maki went against what's that guy for comic relief in the ton. Yeah, like, you know, but
Go ahead.
let's not even talk about the lesser stuff. The bigger battles. Shinra versus Keka. Like, that was phenomenal to watch. Shinra versus Burns. Like,
That little training bout that he
a
had
little
with him.
training bout. It was you hear it all. Like you hear the sounds going on. Like, I hope people have great headphones when they watch this freaking anime, because you're not gonna get, like, you want the full effect. And I'm watching it with my surround sound. I'm just like, this is great. Like, I'm just like blown away. I'm like leaning back in my chair, like, oh, this is amazing. So yeah, I mean, the fights have rewatch value too. On top of that, like, not many animes, I can't say like you're gonna go back and watch as good as and people, I guess this is subjective, but as good as God of High School is, I'm not running back to watch these fights.
Well, I mean,
You get what I'm saying?
that's because I feel like God of High School as an anime isn't giving the fights much purpose. I think when you go back to get rewatch value from fights, even if they're like, even like anime like One Punch Man, right? Where you know it's not super story driven, but for some reason they find a way to make the fights, like they build them up. So you want to go back and see them again, plus the animation. But I think in Fire Force we want to go back and see some of them because a lot of the times they're built up well. But not only that, the writer from Soul Eater, right? I'm about to look up his name so we could just say his name.
Yeah, we should have had
But,
that on.
He or she, yeah.
We should have had that on.
Oh yeah, he or she, right? So
And that's
the
actually my
writer
favorite
from
artist of all time, and I don't know who that is.
Soul Eater. Now check this out though. The thing with Soul Eater that was so good is I enjoyed the fact that a lot of the combat sequences and the action is very, as Tom likes to say, unconventional. And the reason that I enjoy Fire Force so much is that it's the same situation. We see fights with fire where they're literally explaining why this fire does this in conjunction with this ability and this amount of science that goes into it, and that's why these things happen, right? One of my favorite fights, funny enough, and I forgot his name, the dude with all the guns, the dude with the guns, like he had like he had,
Hinawa?
yeah,
Is that his name?
I forgot.
The second lieutenant? You talking about the lieutenant? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yo, when he was fighting, the fact that he really goes into they go into explaining, and he knows why he picks a certain gun out, why he's shooting a certain direction, how much power he's putting into a shot. He makes a shot stronger in order to do that's out the box. It's out the box. Like, you just see regular fights, you're expecting people to power up and go at it, and no, he's out there, and this is really calculated. He's doing this and that, and I feel like that was a cool thing to add in the show. Even like Obi being mad strong, right? And he has to do things a different way whenever he's out there in the battlefield, because they put all that effort into making sure that the combat, the action, and the characters are not just the characters out of combat, but in combat. And that adds to the depth and the layer of all these encounters that we see happening in Fire Force. That's something that I enjoy a lot. Like, I really like to see the characters together and just doing stuff, because then you get to see all the things happening when they like explain it. Oh, this amount of air does this, or even with like the time. Remember the time thing?
Oh,
Right?
show.
With
Yeah.
show when they were explaining how the fire helped him to do that, and then they were explaining why Shinra was able to combat it by using the fire to speed up at a pace to keep up with. Like it made sense. You know what I'm saying? It's weird sense and weird science, but the way that
it's so
they
good
worded
when things
it
make
made it
sense,
work.
though.
If you could tell somebody that the moon is made out of cheese and you could convey it in a way and make it sound like as if it, then that's amazing. That's amazing. Like you know it's false,
Yeah.
but if you can convince, believability is huge when it comes to writing in general. You know, and that goes with horror movies, that goes with, you know, science fiction, that goes with fantasy. Believability is huge. And I mean, that's the reason why I love Star Trek. So, like, you know, yeah, like they're doing everything right. They're doing everything right. Everything's being done right with this. And I can't even say they, because it could be just one writer coming up with all these, you know, all these things.
So I did look it up. I looked it up. The guy's name is Atsushi Okubo,
Okay.
and he wrote Soul Eater and Fire Force, and he was an assistant under the manga series Get Backers.
I love Get Backers.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I love Get
Holy
Backers.
cow.
hell yeah.
Well,
That was
shout
such a
outs
good
to you.
anime, bro.
Oh
sir.
my gosh.
Because you're doing a good job writing and creating a different way for us to enjoy anime. I definitely think that is the case. I think we're gonna definitely do a part 2 on Fire Force. I think there's more that we can get into, and I want the other pillars to kind of weigh in on it. But we're getting towards the close of the episode, and I want to specifically do this. So I agree with this, but Nobunaga Deno would like, I guess, your opinion. This is to the viewers on some other topics and shows you want us to tackle and talk about. What are some anime that you watch, or some things that you see in anime that you might want to suggest to us that we should be watching, that we should be checking out, that we should talk about, that things that are, I guess, that we probably know about but just haven't thought about, because there's so many topics that are going on in the
that's
head
true.
that you want us to get to, and we could talk about those things and bring it to the meeting of the pillars, where we can just go through it, dissect it, talk about it, and really get into the nitty gritty, so we can have these conversations with you. Please join the conversation down in the comments below, and of course,
And
as
it's
we
not
do in
just
every...
my bad to cut you off,
No,
Maurice.
go ahead, bro.
I mean, collectively, we all seen so many different animes, read tons of different mangas, and it's just hard to recollect all the things that we've seen
Yeah.
and try to bring them up in any of our conversations. Like I just saw Get Backers, and
I totally
I've
disagree.
seen that like once or twice, like through completely, and it doesn't come to mind. But if we were to talk about it, I can bring out like so many like topics and ideas about it or whatnot. We could have a full blown conversation about it.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that people feel that we've missed, yeah, just bring that up in the comments, or any types of topics, or top 10 lists, or anything of that nature. It'd be great so that you guys can hear exactly what it is that you want to hear.
Engage more.
Yeah, I mean, and more than just hearing it, we would like you guys to talk about it with us. So
Yeah,
again,
for
please
sure.
just join us in the conversation. Hit us up on Twitter. You know what I'm saying, and so we can keep having these conversations all the time. Of course, our Twitter is underneath our I guess respective pictures, and I guess where we are on the screen. So please hit us up and all that stuff. We like to talk that anime stuff with you guys, as we normally do. As per every episode, we're gonna pose a question to you. So, what do you think about Fire Force? And I guess the best way to do that, since we talked about, I guess, the depth of Fire Force from characters to talking about abilities, and talking about, I guess, the history of the Edola Link, and just kind of the infernal situation, and firefighters becoming an actual driving force for an anime, which is pretty cool. So what do you like about Fire Force? What is it that makes you watch the show into the second season, and what are you looking for? What are you looking forward to? So those are the question I want to ask you. So what do you like about Fire Force, or what are you looking forward to? And of course, just put it down in the comment section below, so we can also talk back with you guys and have this conversation, and you guys can always be a part of this meeting of the pillars. Again, please like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, so we can continue to talk all things anime and nerd, and you can see exactly when we're coming together to meet. As always, Black Lives Matter, and they always will. So until next time, it's been the pillars, us, the Hashira Podcast, talking that anime stuff. Stay nerdy, my friends. Later.